Okay, so I don't know how much of that it just showed, but anyway, my Zoom is still glitchy as usual, but hopefully does an okay job. But welcome back to the Life and Lessons of Me. I'm your host, Jordan. So today I want to talk in a somewhat non-political way about my political views. So this might be interesting and probably difficult for me to word it correctly. So I'm not here to tell anybody what to think. Okay. That's the first thing. I'm not here to tell anyone what to think. If you have a rebuttal to what I have to say, hit me up. Okay. I'm totally fine with listening to your opinions, and I will give you the time of day, unlike some people on both sides. Okay. We need to normalize conversations. Okay. And here's what a conversation is. I say what I believe, right? And then I allow you to say what you believe, and I respond in a, civil manner, right? So I go, okay, yeah, I hear you, but I think this, and if we can't come to, common ground, then we agree to disagree. That's the mature way. And unlike a lot of, even politicians, they don't know how to communicate very well with either side. So let's get into it, right? So I would like to start off by saying I'm a registered Republican. Does that mean I will always vote Republican? Depends. Right now, probably yes. That does mean I will always vote Republican. But that's not to say that, I'm any of the things that Republicans are typically called. So we all know what they are. I'm not here to repeat them because I like to judge people on an individual level and not make massive generalizations. So, but that's not really what this is about. This is more about, the view of healthcare and how some people view it. Here's what I think. As somebody who is in the government system that currently exists, Medicare, Medicaid, same thing. Well, not the same thing. One's for old people, one's for me. I believe it's Medicare. Anyway, as somebody who is in that system, I can tell you from personal experience that it sucks. Okay. It sucks. And yes, the privatized insurance sector sucks too, but it's that, or everything takes forever and you have to go through a bunch of steps and red tape and blah, blah, blah. And if it's not approved by the government, you can't do it. Right. So I'm having issues purchasing my car because the seller doesn't have like an in-house welder. Yeah, a welder, right? So I can't get that car with government assistance because that guy doesn't have a welder. And mind you, I've been informed that you don't need a welder because most of the places don't even do it that way, like lower the floor with a welder. Okay, yes, I don't know the specifics of it per se, but I do know that's why he's not an approved seller, because he doesn't have a welder, which makes no sense. If they don't need a welder, why are they requiring him to have a welder? It doesn't make any sense, does it? No, it doesn't. Okay. So yeah, I'm having issues buying that car. Whoopee. Because all of a sudden the government just said, all right, we'll help you. And you would think that, you would be informed of all the things that you have to do and the steps and, what's approved and who, like what organizations approved to, so apparently I found a care person from a place, but it's not covered by insurance because it's not, but, in any case, so I reached out to this Office of Vocational Rehabilitation person from the state of Pennsylvania, and they said they're not an approved partner, so they can't pay for it. Like, do you want me to get I want to get my license, but like, you're not making it very easy for me. Like, yeah. So basically, as someone who's experienced the healthcare system firsthand, it's not great, but more government wouldn't make it easier. That's for damn sure. Um, the government is working with outdated technology like fax. Like a fax machine was outdated like probably 10 years ago. 2012. Yeah. I mean, yes, faxing is great, but as soon as fax came out, it wasn't really like as soon as it came out, it was obsolete. So the government's working with outdated technology beyond belief, completely, totally outdated. It's really ridiculous, actually. So why would that be? No idea. Other than I don't know. I really don't. I don't have a very good explanation for you. But as someone who also has experienced, doing it myself and paying for it out of pocket with my like crazy wealth, which I'm being sarcastic there, but I am lucky to be fortunate enough to be able to, even attempt to do it myself. Some people are stuck in the government system and it's ridiculous. Like they have to update this care plan where it's like basic information, like are you still disabled? Like, no, thank you, I'm not. But as you can tell, this is a charged topic for me. I'm trying to be, as impartial here, but from my perspective, less government would make everything a little bit more streamlined. And that's what a lot of people who think like me would understand that. Like, yes, like being privately wealthy is probably the best way to like literally do whatever you want. The ideas of America, like government shouldn't be in my business, dang it. But unfortunately, like I have to deal with it. So it's okay. It's whatever. If it didn't exist, it would be hard. But it does exist. It's like good to have it, but it's also a lot of crap. So it's frustrating and stressful and blah, blah, blah. And it was way easier to pay for the driving lessons and get my license and get a car and do all this stuff. So like, if you cut out the government with this whole process, yeah, it would be streamlined and way quicker and way easier. However, not everyone has the luxury of doing that. And I would rather have the government help me. Like, I would rather have that. But, I know for a fact that more government makes things less efficient because if this is the amount of government control that is in the healthcare system and it already sucks, can you imagine what it would be like with more government help? Quote help. Like it's like, yeah, we'll help you, but you have to go through this 1,000,000-step process and we're not going to give you all the information you need until like right? Like why would they not give me all the information I need? Like who is a partner with OVR that they would pay for me to go out and live at this freaking thing that's 4 hours away and get my license that way? Like that's not necessarily their fault that it's 4.5 hours away, but it is certainly their fault for not informing me of everything that I needed to do because they wouldn't do they don't do that. Like it's almost like nobody knows anything. Like they have all these redundant systems and you have to call like 5 different people and they all tell you that, well, we don't know, or they go, you should call this person. And it's like, okay, well, I just got off the phone with that person and they told me to call you. And then you're telling me to call them back and then blah, blah, blah. Like it's such crap. It's such crap. And people who, in my opinion, people who are, the loudest for socialized healthcare don't actually have, a chronic disease. They don't. And it's important for people to realize that until you know everything, until you have experienced it yourself, you don't know what you're talking about. And that's okay. You can have opinions if you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, 90% of people probably are like that. Like, okay, that's another generalization. My bad. But all I'm saying is if you haven't experienced it firsthand, good for you. And however, you need to like, think about who else it would affect. Like, yeah, insurance is is garbage, but without it, you're kind of screwed. So yes, I'm saying that the system we have is not perfect. However, if you get rid of all the private sector healthcare and everybody, think about that, 360 million people in one standardized government healthcare system. Number one, why would it be standardized? Like, people's health needs are completely different, person to person. Like, that would never practically work. In a utopia, yeah, it would work fine, but it's not a utopia, okay? For some people, we live in reality, okay? And because we've experienced it, right? We know what we're talking about because we've experienced it. Now, am I the best guy to talk on things that I've not experienced? Probably not, but at least I understand that, because some people, you know, they will just have an opinion because they have an opinion, like, not because they've dealt with it themselves or anything like that, just because they think they know what they're talking about, which it's okay. Some people have done their research and think they know what they're talking about, but until you actually experience it, that all I'm saying is, as you get older, you'll experience reality more, and then you'll be like, So I saw a video saying that a lot of people became more, towards a Republican idea when, they grew up and had a family and things like that. And it was interesting to see how, like, they were saying that when they were teenagers, they were, considered liberal, right? They were caught up with the pop culture and all and everything like that. And I'm not saying that it's bad necessarily. I mean, obviously, I'm going to agree to disagree with some people that think that way, because that's just not who I am. And I'm being true to myself, and I'm not here to judge anybody at all. I'm not judging you. I am telling you, though, socialized healthcare, definitely not the answer. I haven't personally looked into, like, what Canada does, but I'm of the firm belief that if I didn't live here, like, with all the, insurance stuff and blah, 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 like, yes, government insurance is helpful. I'm not saying it's not, because it absolutely is helpful. But if it's this bad with, like, I don't know how many people are currently in the, government provided healthcare system, but if everyone was, it would be backed up for months. Like, someone inform me of the population of Canada, because it's pretty big, I would say. Maybe I should look it up as I'm talking. How about we do that? We're gonna look up real quick. Bear with me here. All right. Population of Canada. Okay, the population of Canada is 38 million people. What is the population of the United States? USA. Let's see. 329. Okay, so I was wrong. 329 as of 2020. It's 329.5 million people, which is, almost 10 times that of Canada, if I can do math right. I don't know. Anyway, can you imagine 329 million people in one system? Because I can't, because it's already hard to, like, comprehend why, this system is so inefficient, other than it's the government. Like, throughout history, the government has been nothing but inefficient, ineffective. Like, it's like, from the Republican idea of, like, do your own thing, less government. I agree with that, because, like I said, more government just makes everything less streamlined and more confusing, and there's more steps and there's more regulations. So if it's not approved by the government, you're SOL, bud. Like, pretty much. So yeah, in Canada, 38 million people, that's a little bit more manageable for a system like socialized healthcare. But it doesn't account for people like me, who are in a unique situation, right? Yes, drug prices are too much money, but I don't know. Biden said he was going to fix that, so But just saying that doesn't mean he's actually fixing it. But we'll see. I'm not saying he won't. I'm not saying that. We'll see. Hopefully he delivers on everything he said, because that would be good. Yeah. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm pretty firm in my beliefs here. But like I said, I will listen to what you have to say, and I will consider all of that. And just because my perspective is this doesn't mean you don't bring a different, unique perspective that you can, help me gain, right? So, as somebody who wants to help everyone gain perspective into my life and kind of like how I move through it, I would like to gain more perspective myself, and I think that can come with maturity. Like you want to gain perspective of all sides and all beliefs, and make your own decisions based on that. And the problem is people just don't make their own decisions anymore. Like all of COVID, you saw it. People weren't making their own decisions. They were just listening blindly, following orders, kind of like, I don't know. It's just like we're not programmed. We're not robots. Each of us has a unique brain that thinks and sees the world through a unique lens. So yeah, probably everybody's right in their own world. Yes, everyone is right in their own world because that's how they perceive reality, right? And perceive like I see a tree out my window. You would probably go, I see a tree out my window. Someone else might go, I see a specific type of tree. Or I see the grass, or look, a house. Like everyone's different. Everyone's unique. And we can't just go through life thinking that everyone's the same, because we're not. Everyone's unique and different, right? So my perspective may differ from your perspective, but if you haven't experienced something firsthand, either research it, or like hopefully you don't have to experience this, because this is ridiculous. Trust me, it's ridiculous. It just makes everything take forever, and it's just not fun. It's really not. And then it's like it's just annoying. Honestly, it's just like, which is also kind of why, like, right now we're not drilling for more oil. Like, yeah, it is up to the companies to do that. Like Jen Psaki said the other day, or was it today? It might have been today. I've been watching a lot of news lately. But in terms of that, like the Biden administration was the one that added the regulations, and who knows if the companies start drilling for more oil, how are they to know, if the Biden administration won't just drop more, regulations and like red tape on them. Someone who's experienced red tape in the medical system, it's kind of applicable here. Like, yes, it is up to the companies to drill. It's not necessarily the government's place to say, all right, we're done buying Russian oil. But yeah, in my opinion, on the Ukraine stuff, it's very simple. Given the threat of nuclear war, especially since Putin raised the alert level, again, not scaring anybody, I don't think he's going to actually do anything. However, if we continue to, bolster his economy with buying oil, it's not going to get better. It's not. Because Putin then will be like, see, they're all talk. They won't do anything, right? And that's not what, the U.S. should be showing right now. We should be showing strength. Yeah, we are still one of the greatest superpowers on the planet, right? Yeah, and I'm not here to say that the green energy stuff is stupid, because it's not. It absolutely needs to happen. I have eyes. I'm witnessing, yeah, my current environment right in front of me seems fine. That doesn't mean it's all totally fine. So even though I am a Republican, I still, observe the world, in my own way. I'm not adopting every single Republican idea, and I'm not adopting every single Democrat idea. I make my own decisions, right? Yes, the environment should be fixed. However, as someone who thinks logically sometimes, logic, emotion, you're allowed to think both ways. But Some people don't have that ability, and that's not their fault. That's literally like their brain just doesn't do that, and that's fine. Like I said, everyone has a unique brain and a set of perception that they see the world through. So I have the ability to think logically and emotionally, which is great for me, but not to pat myself on the back or anything. But so what I'm getting at is we need to be energy independent with fossil fuels first. Yes, I know that's not ideal, but again, reality doesn't mean an ideal circumstance. I mean, look at my reality. Can't walk, can't stand in the shower, can't shit by myself. So that's what reality is. In a perfect world, of course, I'd be totally physically normal, but that's not how it is. So Utopia don't exist, bro. It doesn't exist, okay? And it's the same thing. Like with communism, it was supposed to be utopia. Doesn't work, guys. It just doesn't work. It's never worked. It works on paper. It sounds great, but in reality, back to reality. Okay, like the Eminem song, right? So back to the energy thing. Yes, we should be working towards green energy. I'm not disagreeing with that. However, if we're still reliant on Russian energy, let's say like if there's no world left because Putin nuked it, it won't matter if we have green energy or not, because we will have effectively destroyed the entire world. It'll grow back. It'll come back. But, nature will survive long after humans are gone. Trust me. Global warming is a naturally occurring phenomenon. Maybe we added to it, but either way, naturally occurring. So maybe it's too late to fix it. I don't know. But, I'd rather have a world to be able to fix. And that's my thoughts on that. So I'm not saying, it just seems backwards to me that and this is why I didn't vote for Joe Biden. It seemed backwards to me as soon as he canceled the Keystone Pipeline, because it killed American jobs. It made us dependent on Russian energy and other sources. I'm not saying we just get oil from Russia, because we don't. It's like Canada, obviously OPEC, Saudi Arabia, that kind of stuff. But he removed the sanctions on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Does that make sense to anybody? Like, why does Russia get a pipeline and we don't get our big, nice new Keystone XL pipeline? That's not to say we don't have other pipelines. I'm not saying that. But, I'm trying to, like, Putin is a crazy nut job. He's a crazy nut job. However, he is an observant crazy nut job, right? He's been observing American politics for years. For years. He's a KGB thug. That's what he is. And he's adopted the idea that he needs to rebuild the Soviet Union, which makes no sense, especially in 2022 when freedom is so obviously better. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense. All I'm saying is, Trump probably, I believe he said he was smart, which doesn't make any sense. Like, he shouldn't have said that. But he meant, like, what I'm saying is he's an observant, crazy nut job. He's not a crazy nut job who's lost his mind completely. That's kind of what he meant. He should have said that. But, it's Trump, and he says whatever comes into his mind, which I didn't necessarily like. I was looking at the actions of him, not, anything that he did previously, or like names he called people. Like, yes, he shouldn't have done that. And he's not that nice a dude. However, I was looking at everything that he was doing, and I was able to, move past his crappy attitude. I will say he was very funny, like, kind of entertaining. But yeah, so all I'm saying is you have the ability to make your own opinion based on everything that you've observed and witnessed and, lived through. I'm back to Putin for a second. he knows how American politics works. So he knows that our hands are tied here. And in order to avoid a war, we won't get directly involved, which makes sense. And I agree with the sanctions that Biden put on Russia and the Russian oligarchs. However, that's not really a solution. That's more of a punishment for Putin. And hopefully, maybe it will become a solution. Like I'm hopeful that the sanctions are going to, make the Russians mad enough to, take matters into their own hands. And who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, but I can only worry about the immediate me. So, yes, I have opinions on it. However, I'm not going to, force anybody to think a certain way because that's stupid and totally against what I believe. I believe in making your own decisions, clearly. And I'm not telling you what to think at all. And I would never try to, because I realize that everyone's different, right? And as soon as we realize that as a country, we will get closer and be more unified, and we need that because we are so divided, and people like Putin see that. So they act. While I completely disagree, and I think the Ukrainians are putting up a hell of a fight, and they need to keep doing that because they need to stand up. We all need to stand up to Putin's psycho behavior. Okay, we cannot have a World War II happen. Well, that it would be World War III. But what I mean is, we have to be like, okay, this is eerily similar to World War II and how that began, in terms of like our hands are tied and we can't really do much. I mean, when we got involved in the war in World War II, we were directly attacked. So I don't think we're going to get directly involved unless we're directly attacked, which makes total sense. Or if NATO's attacked, yes, we have to move in because we signed the treaty and it was ratified. So Article 5, yeah, we need to do that because we are obligated to do that, But my question is, why did it take Putin invading Ukraine for the rest of the world to be like, maybe we need to start spending more money on our military? Maybe. Like, yes, of course. I'm not saying that I know everything because I definitely don't. And I'm just saying what I personally have experienced. So, absolutely. If you disagree with me, I would like to know. I want to know what you think. Okay. And take this all with a grain of salt. Like I said, this is my personal experience. This is what I personally believe. It's not what, every single registered Republican believes. It's not what every single registered Democrat believes. It's what I believe, right? And that's the point I'm trying to drive home here is you need to choose your own path and your own decisions. Don't let somebody make them for you. If you totally agree with everything they're saying, great. That's up to you to decide. But if you're like, like you don't have to follow literally everything that someone says because then you're not making your own decisions. You're just copying what someone else is doing. So, yes, please make your own decisions. Just it's not that bad. It's really freeing actually, and you need to stand up for what you believe in, whether it be what majority of people are saying they believe in, or what what is the, I guess, considered the opposite of, I don't know. It's just like you can believe whatever you want because you're an individual. And, here in America, we care about individuals. We don't care about as much like the entire group. Like we treat everybody as an American. Like you are definitely part of this culture and you are definitely, you should take pride in being an American no matter what you think about this country. All I know is I'm glad I live here because the opportunities that I've had don't really exist anywhere else. They don't. And if they do, tell me. But, like if you're comparing the country like the United States to like Denmark, the population is massively different. And that's the thing you got to consider. Like you have to consider everything. You can't just say, oh, this will work and then try it and then it doesn't work. And then what do you do now? So yeah, I'll go back to, if you haven't personally experienced it, you got no opinion. Like, right? Like, I'm not well versed in LGBTQ struggles because I'm not. I'm just not. Does that make me ignorant? Not necessarily. It just means that I don't think about it because I'm not directly, involved in that kind of stuff, right? So if you're not directly involved in something or haven't personally experienced something, I really don't think and like I said, I don't have an opinion on that because why, yes, my best friend is bisexual, so there's that. That's not that doesn't sound good, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm not directly involved in that, so I'm not against it or for it because how could I be? I'm not informed enough and I haven't personally experienced anything that, they have. Talking about that community specifically. I'm not trying to say like anything like that. Like, yes, I am informed because my best friend is bisexual, but not informed to the extent that, I would go to rallies or whatever. That's what I'm saying. So, with that being said, I'm again back to think for yourself, make your own decisions, and you can't always have an opinion on everything. You can try, you can inform yourself, yes, but you know what they say, ignorance is bliss. If you don't directly experience something, you're not going to be thinking about it on a day to day. You wouldn't, right? You wouldn't be thinking about the healthcare system so much, if you weren't in it, right? And I think you get what I'm saying, and I'm just being repetitive and blah blah blah. So I'm gonna end it now because I'm just rambling. So hopefully you got what I was putting down. Don't take this personally. I'm not. I just again, this is what I think. If you think something different, tell me. I am more than willing to have a conversation with you, right? But don't yell at me and tell me I'm wrong, okay? And I won't do that to you, right? It's respect is mutual. If you respect what I believe, I will respect what you believe 100%. Does that mean I agree with it? Not necessarily, but I'm willing to, take in what you have to say and respond in the best way that I can possibly respond with, without sounding like I'm overbearing or whatever. So like everybody gets a chance to talk. Okay. It's not one side is absolutely right and the other side is absolutely wrong. There's probably some agreement in there that you just haven't discovered yet. So it's important to have discussions, not arguments, discussions. Okay. And as soon as one person feels like they're not heard, that's when it explodes into an argument and a yelling match, and that's not how we communicate. That's not how we should be communicating. And that is definitely not how we reunify as a country. Right. So I think you got the message. Hopefully you did. And like I said, hit me up. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Life and Lessons of Me. So as always, tune in. Keep watching all my content. Give it a like if you liked it. Leave a comment if you have something to say. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.